Hello everybody, my name is Jennifer Maker. Welcome to the Great Maker Show and Tell. Today we're making explosion boxes. An explosion box is a paper box that explodes when you open it, which means lift its lid. What that really means is that when you open it up, the sides fall down, usually revealing little notes, photos, or sentiments. I've had a number of you ask me to do a tutorial on an explosion box because they seem complicated, but good news, they are actually quite easy. Explosion boxes come in many different shapes and sizes, and today I'm going to show you a basic explosion box that you can use to make many different types and styles yourself. In fact, to make my explosion box as useful as possible to as many of you as I can, I've created what I'm calling the endless explosion box. So the idea is that when you lift the lid, you find another box, and then another box, and then another one, and so on and so forth. My design has 12 boxes in all, so you can make them all and stack them together, or just pick and choose the sizes that you want. Another element of my explosion box design is the lid, as several people requested that I design an explosion box with a lid that actually fits. So I put some special attention into this, and I made what I think is a perfectly fitting lid for each box. It's not too loose and it's not too tight. And one of the best things about an explosion box is that it's just made of paper and glue. And my favorite way to make an explosion box is to use these pads of coordinating cardstock, especially the ones that are double-sided like this. So not only do I know that all the patterns and colors go together, but these paper stacks often include little cards and sentiments, but that you can use to personalize your explosion box. And you can get 3 of my endless explosion boxes out of one pad of 36 sheets. If you'd like to make this explosion box, get the free file and pattern from my blog, and then I will show you how to prepare and assemble this project. So head on over to jennifermaker.com and click on libraries and click on enter the free resource library and enter the password that you get when you sign up for free for my newsletter. And then once you're inside the library, just look for the endless explosion box files. Download those and decompress them, and you'll be ready to head on over to Cricut Design Space. In Cricut Design Space, click on New Project and click Upload Image, and then Browse. Locate the SVG that you downloaded. Click Open. You'll see this craziness over here that is correct, and click Save. So once it's uploaded, select it and then click Insert Images. And this is what it looks like when you bring it in. This is all 12 boxes and 12 lids plus extra things. The first thing you want to do is ungroup everything, okay? So now each individual element is on its own, and you can move them around if you want to, if this stacking bothers you, or you want to remove the sizes that you don't need or anything like that. But you don't need to do that, so we're just going to undo all this so we can keep it all nice and neatly together. What you do have to do is change each of these layers that has a white circle with a red line through it. Those are the score layers, and they have to be set to score. You need to set them to score and then attach them to the base layer that's below it. So there's a lot of these layers. You want to get started. So just click on it and click Score, and then click the group, and then click Attach. And you're going to do this 24 times. So just go through each individual, looking for each icon that has a white circle with a line through it, change it to score, select the group that it's in, and click Attach. Okay? I know this is a lot of layers, but this is really the best way to have done it, because if I I can kind of group things together for you, but then you wouldn't have the option of choosing different sizes and, and hiding them or deleting them. It would have all kind of been stuck together, basically welded together, and not give you the flexibility to have different sizes if you wanted. So You're just going to have to go through it and change each layer to score. I do really, really wish that I was able to set this layer to score for you before you ever uploaded it, but that's not an option with Cricut Design Space. I can't, there's really no way to designate a line as a score line versus a cut line. So they always come in by default as cut lines, and then we have to change them to score or write or print or whatever it is that we're going to do. So this is just a limitation with the software. But it's worth the time to do this because having them scored makes the folding go quite a bit easier. Just remember that you have to change every layer that is blank like that. That's how we know. That's how I keep it as a score line. You just got to change each one to score and then attach each one to the base. And I'm going to go ahead and click Make It Now so you can see what it looks like when we haven't done it all changed all of the score lines as we should. So what we get are a whole bunch of mats, right? And if you look at the mats, you see these blank squares here, and so that should have been a score line. And here on the red line, these are definitely score lines. Those are for the lids, and there's a score line there as well. So I missed some layers, so we just go back through and we locate them and then we change them. So you're looking for that white circle with the red line through it, and then the icon to the left of it should look like a little scoring stylus. And if it doesn't look like that, if it looks like a pair of scissors, that means it wasn't set. So here's one right here. So we click that and then click score and attach it, right? I mean, there's a couple more here. So it's not uncommon to miss some because as you do the attaching, it sort of changes the layer order and it can get a little bit confusing. So just make sure you go through that one more time. And if you see those weird score lines on different mats, all that means is that you haven't attached it to the layer that it needs to be with. Nothing more than that. One more there. Did we get them all? Let's see. That looks good. The yellow looks good. I'm not seeing any orphaned score lines. Awesome. Looks like we got them all this time. But this is 13 mats. That's a lot of mats. You're welcome to cut out 13 mats worth of paper. I personally would like to cut fewer than 13 mats. A lot fewer than that. So let me show you how I cut this out. So we're going to basically consolidate things. And we can move elements from one mat to another, but for this particular project, there's a faster way of doing it. I don't really care so much about which, because I'm using a coordinated stack of paper, I'm not super concerned about making sure that a certain box is on a certain paper or a certain color or whatever. So we're going to change everything to be the same color. So go ahead and click cancel. And then when we're back on this page, first we're going to select everything. The fastest way to do that is just go up and click the select all icon. And then we're going to click on color sync over here on the far right. So we're just going to drag each one of these layers here from whatever color it is, in this case yellow to orange. And then that one is blue to orange and then pink to orange. Color sync allows you to consolidate colors, and that's going to let us put more of these elements onto fewer mats. That's the idea here. If you need it to be specific colors, then you can't do this, but we don't in this case. So we're going to go ahead and click Make It. And this time it organizes it into 10 mats. So we've saved 3 mats. That's great progress, but still not quite good enough because look at all this blank space on these mats. So we're going to move each, from the mats that have the smaller bits, so like 8, 9, and 10, we're going to move those smaller bits into these empty areas of the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 mats, right? Basically, we're just going to shoehorn all of these little bits in to these empty spaces. And Cricut Design Space has these empty spaces because it doesn't really, it's just the algorithm of its fitting software. I'm sure there's a better name for that, but it can't tell really that that's a void space. It's not sophisticated enough, so it doesn't put little things there. But we can do that, and we can organize them all so that we have fewer mats. And not only does this save on materials, but it saves us time too and effort. Fewer mats is just more efficient. So now we have gotten it down to 8 mats. So that's going from 13 mats to 8 mats. Awesome. So now we can cut it. So select your Cricut and then click Browse Materials. And I'm just using regular old cardstock. So we're going to click cardstock, change our pressure to more, and cut it out. Now, here is a tip for when you're cutting out a lot of mats of things. Use 2 mats and prepare your second mat with your second sheet of paper while the first one's cutting out. Do the same for the third and the fourth and the fifth. And that means you can just keep feeding your machine mats and then take the pieces off of your mats while the other sheet is cutting, right? So this is a time saver that I do when I have multiple mats to cut. All right, so here's all of our cut pieces. This is a lot of pieces. So we're going to sort all of our pieces by, we want the box itself, the box lid, the parts that are just squares. Those are just the sort of embellishment parts. And then there's 2 different styles of pockets. One has a round thumb tab and one has a like an angular thumb tab. So sort everything into these 5 different shapes. And there's quite a few. There are 12 boxes. This is an endless explosion box. Well, it's not really endless, but it's close to endless. So once you have everything sorted, now sort each of these stacks by size so that you have them in order by size, because they'll just make it go so much easier when we assemble them. So go from largest to smallest, just like I'm doing here. There we go. There's the little pockets and then the squares. All right, everything is sorted. Now it's time to assemble. Get your glue. All right, so we're going to start with the smallest one, and we're just going to fold up the sides. That's going to form the little box. Then we're going to glue down some embellishments. So there's a little pocket, and the other little pocket goes on the other side. And you'll note that this is double-sided paper with different designs on each side, which is really perfect for this. And we're going to pay attention to which side we put down on our paper, because even though the little square pocket might have been cut out of the same paper, it doesn't look the same on both sides. And then that gives us the opportunity to have different designs, just like that. And then now we need to do the lid. This is the smallest one, so this is going like a 1-inch square box. So there's the lid, and the lid just gets folded down on all 4 sides, and then there's a little tab in each corner that gets folded down as well, and then glued to the side next to it. It's really a very simple design. This is nothing at all complicated. I think an explosion box only looks complicated because of the way it opens and the way it's embellished. So here's the little lid, and it goes right on top of our box. There we go. Isn't that cute? Little 1-inch box. And now we just continue to do this for 11 more boxes. And now as you go, you want to glue the box that you just did to the inside of the box that you're creating. So it's stuck in there, right? And I like to make sure that all the flaps, as I set that box down, with the glue on it, I like to just double check that all the flaps will fold up without being hindered, just in case I had it off center a little bit, so that I know that it's going to be able to close up into a box and not be stuck somewhere. And as I do this, I'm also paying attention to which patterns I'm going. Since I have the double-sided paper, I can flip it over if I think it's, if it's the exact same paper, I can just flip it over so that every box and every lid and every pocket looks a little different from each other on each layer. That's my goal. Sometimes you have like a square that's exactly the same and you don't want to use it. So you can take some of your scrap and cut a new pocket or square or something, or you can use those little embellishment pages to create a little, just cut out a little bit there. And I know I'm going very fast here. My video is very fast, but if I didn't do this, we would be here for an hour. This box took me an hour to put together. But it looks so cool, guys, so it's totally worth it. This would just be for somebody very special. So we're almost to the last layer. I'll slow it down when we get to the last layer so you can watch the process nice and slow. All right, so there's the lid for the second to last layer. So here's our last layer. So we just fold in each of the 4 sides of the box, and we decide which side of the lid we're going to use that matches it, because this is the outside, so it's more important. And then we glue down our various pockets and squares and anything else, right? I mean, you can just be decorating this as you go. There's so many different ways that you can embellish these boxes. We're going for a very simple approach for our first explosion box. If you guys want to do more, we can always do other ones later too. And I didn't like that last one because it matched, so I'm going to get out my embellishment sheet, whatever we call that page, with all the little sentiments on it. And I'm going to find one that matches and is the right size. And I'm going to put that one there instead. So we'll just cut it out. We'll glue that there. I mean, this is a great use for these things. Like, I never know what to do with these cute little cards they put in the stacks, because I'm not a scrapbooker. I never really have been. I tried it once a very long time ago and decided it wasn't for me, but I always figured that's what they're probably for, right? But this is a great use for them. All right, so we glue the bottom of this second to last box. Make sure all the flaps will flap up, fold up, and then we fold the lid. Make sure that you're paying attention to what color you want to have on the outside. So I want yellow on the outside. You'll see me folding it like this just because it, the way this where the score was, it wanted to fold on the other side first. So we're going to get all the corners glued up nice and tight. And then when it's good, we just put the lid on. And there we go. Isn't that cute? Okay, but we're not done yet. We need to decorate the inside with these other rest of the embellishments and anything else. You know, this is when you want to put notes in and photos and, you know, what, anything, the money, you know, you could put some money in there, whatever it is that you want to put into this box, put that in. And then we're going to tie it all up with a ribbon. You don't have to. The lid stays on just fine. I just thought it was cuter with the ribbon because it then looks like a little present. So I just picked a coordinating color of ribbon, and you can see I've got like a short section here on one side. And then what I'll do is I'll wrap my ribbon, the one that actually ties the top, I'll wrap that around the top. All right, looks good. Let's put the lid on. And let's put a bow on it. No fancy bow, just a simple bow because I want to be able to untie it and have it be opened. So would you like to see inside? You want to see what it looks like? Let's open it up and look. Because this box is just filled with happiness. Look at the colors of it. It is so cheerful and sweet and warm and happy. Like, seriously, when I was making this, just the colors and the sentiments were just making me feel good. It was actually kind of crazy. Like, but it was just happiness. It was just filled with happiness. So I had a lot of fun making this, and I think the explosion of color goes well with this style of box. When you get to the last one, there is a paper rose inside, and you can get the pattern for the paper rose on my blog, of course, and I will link that below. Didn't that turn out super, super cute? I am really looking forward to making more of these for my nieces, because I'm planning to put little coins in the pockets and folded up bills in the pockets as well. They're gonna love and hate me. Now, there's a lot that you can do with explosion boxes. Some people put much more elaborate pockets and booklets and mini cards inside their boxes. I think one of these boxes would be amazing for putting a cash gift for kids and teens. And I'm totally planning to make 2 of these for my nieces and stuff bills and coins in the little pockets. It's going to drive them crazy, which is awesome. And the added weight will have the extra benefit of making the sides explode even more, right? So I started with this basic explosion box, but of course, there are lots of other fancier ones that we could make. 6 or 8-sided boxes, themed boxes, and specialty shapes are just a few of the ideas. So, if you're interested in having me design more explosion boxes, let me know in the comments. That's super helpful for me. So, tomorrow I'm going to show you how to install fonts that you can use for your crafts, and specifically Cricut Design Space. And we're going to use those fonts that you've installed to create subway art, which is really just different sizes and colors and styles of fonts arranged in a pleasing way around a central theme. So they call it subway art. So I'm looking forward to doing that with you. Remember to send in your project ideas at jennifermaker.com/show-and-tell. And remember, if you can tell me what you want to make, I can show you how to make it. Until tomorrow.